go over deck profile with you. Son Gohan, Future Gohan from the new set. On the front side, auto when this card attacks, draw a card. Second auto, burst 3 when one of your yellow battle cards with the blocker skill is KO. Draw 2 cards, then add cards from your life to your hand till you have 6 life left and flip this card over. Or the regular awakening, when you're at 4 or less, you may draw 1 card and switch one of your energy to active mode and flip this card over. On the awaken side, has an auto when this card attacks, draw 1 card, then choose one of your yellow Trunks future cards, and it gains plus 5k and critical for the turn. Second auto, choose one of your mono yellow Trunks future cards. When your opponent attacks, switch the chosen card to active mode, and it gets plus 6k for the turn. Negate this skill for the turn. Comes up quite often. So just going over the deck, have a couple, kind of have the core package here. So Son Gohan is a 2-drop blocker. When this card activates its blocker skill, you're able to choose one yellow Trunks future card from your deck and play it. And that's when it either blocks or whenever your opponent removes it with a battle skill, with a skill. So if it's removed by a skill, you'll be able to play one of the 1-drops, or when you activate blocker, you play the 1-drop Trunks. So we're running 2 different Trunks 1-drops. Old one from set 6, and the new 1-drop from the new set. So 1-drop, when this card comes into play, you look at top 3 cards, add 1 yellow Saiyan to your hand, shuffle your deck. Good target if you can't go into this one, and there are a couple reasons you can't go into it. For instance, if he's KO'd by a skill, you might as well play this one to add a card to your hand, because with this one, which is the main target for the Gohan, when your yellow Gohan future is KO'd by an opponent's attack or removed from the battle area by one of your skills, play up to 1 yellow Trunks future with an energy cost of 3 from your deck on top of this card. Shuffle your deck. So what'll happen? You'll block, you'll play this guy, and then once the battle is over and he dies, you'll play your 3-drop on top of him. And that also triggers your awaken. When your blocker, battle card with blocker dies, you get to go ahead and burst 3, draw 2, go down to 6 life and awaken. So those are your 1-drops. And then you play your 3-drop. So the 3-drop guy, 3-drop Trunks, has barrier blocker. He evolves for 1 yellow, which is kind of nice. So if you do have this card out and you actually find him with the top 3, you can go to him next turn for 1 yellow energy, which is nice. You can evolve over either one of the 1-drops. And then he has an activate main for 2 yellow energy. If your leader card is yellow Son Gohan future and you have 4 or more mono yellow energy, choose 1 mono yellow Trunks future card with an energy cost of 8 in your hand and play it on top of this card in active mode. And you can't activate the activate main on the skills of this card for the rest of the turn. That actually happens more often than not because a lot of people will put this in rest, such as the Sin Secret. Put all your battle cards in rest on their defense. You can actually tap 2 yellow and play him in active mode, which is huge. So that's the 3-drop, and then you bring out the big boy. So this card is one of the hardest cards to get rid of once it's out. This card has double strike, barrier, dual attack, and blocker. So it evolves for 4, but you want to play it for 2 yellow energy when you have 4 mono yellow energy. So once per turn, if this card is in rest mode, choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards in rest mode and up to one of their energy in rest mode, and the chosen cards can't be switched to active mode until the end of your opponent's next turn. When this guy's out, it's just, you're swinging dual attack, double strike, and then if you swing with lead first, you give him plus 5k and crit. So you're swinging for 4 crit damage a turn. And then on defense, whenever you're on defense with him, once he's in rest mode, you'll activate. As soon as your opponent attacks, you'll do the auto, restand him, give him plus 6k, and he's now a blocker for you. And he has barrier, so he's extremely hard to remove. So that's the core of the deck. And then we go into some of the more techier cards, I guess you would say. Um, 3 of this guy. If you don't know what he does, he's extremely annoying. He's almost like a dormant. Kind of. So when this card's played from your hand, each time your opponent would attack with a non-unison card this turn, they may choose one of their cards in active mode and switch it to rest mode. They must choose one of their cards in active mode and switch it to rest mode. So you can they'll have to tap their energy or battle cards or unison. And you can actually use this as a negate if you have 2 extra cards in your drop area. He's a 1-cost negate play. Really good card. I did find that it was annoying against the new King Cold because of all the extra field cards. They would just tap a field card. So I thought that was kind of interesting. But either way, it makes them think about what they're going to do the rest of the turn, and it costs 1 to come out as a negate. So I'm also playing 3-time Magics. If you don't know what this card does, Sparking Negate, and you pretty much have Sparking as soon as you awaken because you have to burst to 3. So for the most part, you'll have Sparking, it'll be live, and you'll be at 6 energy or 6 life. So you'll just take a life and activate this. Really good. Battle cards, basically, they can't. Your leader is yellow, negate the attack, then choose one of your opponent's battle cards in rest mode, ignoring barrier. It can't switch to active mode until the start of your next turn. Take Sen Shinron, for example, the 8-drop. When it copies a skill, you can negate the attack, and then it has to stay in rest mode. Really nice. A lot of people play Nimbus over this. I like the time magic. Super combo of choice is going to be Zamasu. Play 4 copies, put a battle card in rest mode. I try to stay at 6 life as long as I can. So this is just the best super combo in my opinion because it works really well with the deck. You can put battle cards in rest mode, leader cards, make it to where they can't swing and draw a card. It's really good. It's one of the new cards from the set. Really, really good synergy. If you have a mono yellow card in active mode, you can activate battle, draw a card, and then rest mode an opponent's unison card or battle card, which came in handy quite often during this tournament. It's also a negate. I never really use it as a negate because I want the draw power and the rest, because with your super combo and with your power of the Super Saiyan, you're able to bring Bergamo out. So once one of the battle cards is put in rest mode, or once one of their cards is put in rest mode, you can tap 2 and activate this and rest 2 more cards, which is great. Came in handy. Tap out energy. That way they can't go into defense with any energy. Really good card. Played a 1 of Poutine. Came up a couple times where I was able to use a super combo, rest something, then play Poutine or play the Bergamo, whatever the case may be. But she came in handy a couple times. But she was immediately taken off the board with whatever skills my opponents had. One of the other packages I play in this is going to be the Lord Slug package. So with the Lord Slug package, quite a few cards that go with it. So extra card also helps with the freezes that you play. The more extra cards you have, the cheaper that Frieza card is. So this will search out your 1-drop. 1-drop on play, you draw a card, and then for 1 yellow energy, you can play either one of these from your hand. Which came up really good because the MVP of this deck is actually this guy. So Lord Slug, when this card's in rest mode, would bond 2, so you have to have another battle card on the field. When he's in rest mode, your opponent cannot draw other than with their leader. So they can't use their super combos are dead, and cards such as that. So the only way they can draw is with their leader effect. So this card really hurts a lot of decks, and a lot of people were not happy with me in this tournament because of this card. And then just to have an extra, because the Slug does have unique. So once he's out, the Slugs aren't necessarily dead because you can play this one, and basically it's a unique with critical for 15k. And what's awesome about it is the auto people forget about. So I don't have it memorized, so I read it. Auto bond 2. If your opponent has 4 or more cards in rest mode when this card attacks, your opponent chooses 2 of their cards in rest mode, the chosen cards can't be switched to active mode until the start of their next turn. So it's really good to keep your opponent tapped. And like I said, it's a different target from the Slug, because once you get him out, you can only have one of them. So that's the little Slug package. I picked it over the U9 package mainly for the Slug effect, thanks to Mike, my teammate. Unison of choice is, I actually picked the Vegeta, Unison of Fury. This card put in quite a bit of work. Once per turn, you can put this card or a battle card in rest mode, give it a marker. You can neg a marker, and then your opponent can't attack with battle cards greater than their energy for the turn. This was really good. I wish I could have gotten it out sooner in the last match that I had. However, the neg 3 on him I actually used to win a game. So I got up to four markers on him. I neg 3, activate main. I was able to choose one of my opponent's energy, switch it to rest mode, which activated my Bergamo. And then I gave him plus 5k, double strike, and dual attack. Him in combination with my Bergamo out on the field and then the 8-drop, just, I mean, it's a lot of damage. You're talking 6 damage just with those 2 cards. So it was really good. Really works well with this deck. One Champa, I actually, swing in with lead or Unison without having the double strike on him. Or another thing that I really enjoyed doing was when I had the 3-drop out, I would swing with lead plus 5 to the 3-drop with critical, and then swing with him, tap 1, and make it double strike crit for 35k. So one of Champa always be in pretty much all of my decks. Cooler. So if you don't know what this card does, it's counter. Tap 3 energy, draw 1, and then if you have 6 or more cards in rest mode, you draw another card. Card came up quite often. I found it a couple times. There were times where I needed it more, but I was able to play around it. Counter, really strong. Especially if you have a board full of blockers, you're not too worried if they have another counter. But when you swing with an 8-drop for double crit for 35k, a lot of people like to negate that attack. So counter, keep swinging. Tech card, it actually never came up. However, I used it in testing, and it really had a really good use to it. So with the new Mecha Frieza counter, he has an activate main where you choose one yellow Frieza card with energy cost of 4 and Mecha in its card name and from your hand and play it on top of this card. So what's cool about him is he has dual attack. This card's from set 1, by the way. Dual attack, and then auto when this card is played, you may place 1 card from your hand in the drop. If you do, choose 2 of your opponent's rest mode battle cards and KO these cards, then this card gains double strike for the duration of the turn. So just more pressure. It never came up in the tournament, but in testing it did, because I didn't play the SS Trunks Unison, so I wasn't able to wipe the board, so he was just an alternative. But like I said, it never came up in the tournament. He may or may not stay in the deck. I don't know yet. Then my Overwhelm of choice was Miro, Sort from the Skies. If you don't know what he does, 1 energy, Overwhelm 7. Auto on play, draw a card, then untap an energy at the end of the turn. Double strike, 30k. Really good to finish games. If you watch the Sin matchup, this was put in rest mode by this second dragon, which actually found out later shouldn't have been on the board, but he would have definitely finished the game for sure. But it also baited it out just in case things didn't play right. But he was put in rest mode, so I wasn't able to swing with him. And then last but not least, Secret. So this Secret in yesterday's tournament was just absolutely insane. I used it on defense a couple times, but in one matchup in particular against Shinron, because they restood all the dragons, I actually used him on offense. So on offense, basically, I swung with lead to give my 8-drop the crit and 5k. And once I gave him the crit and 5k, I didn't care about this attack, but I did combo to get him on board. So for 1 energy, you combo with him. And then once he goes into the drop, you can tap another energy and play him. And his auto on play is at the end of battle in which this card is used in a combo from your hand. Play this card from your drop area. If you do, choose any number of your opponent's leader cards, battle cards, and unison cards equal to or less than their current energy, ignoring barrier, and switch them to rest mode. So basically, I was able to play this on offense and rest all of the dragons. And after all the blockers and everything was in rest, I was able to swing for 4 crit damage and win the game. So this card was extremely well and works really good with this deck. But that's about it. I think changes to it, still tweaking it. Got a couple other cards that I may or may not mess around with. There's a Zarbon that I can restand blockers with, and different overwhelm and things like that. But other than that, I went 4-1, lost in the finals to a Dark Brawly. Deck is extremely hard to deal with, especially if you go second. But that's the deck. Future Gohan.